Alrighty, how's it going, everyone? Texas Man here, back with another video. I hope, of course, you guys are all having a wonderful day. If you guys would, of course, please give this video a thumbs up if you guys do enjoy it. Subscribe, of course, if you guys have done already. Also, make sure to do me the biggest favor of all, hit that bell notification button, select all for all notifications so you guys don't miss out on future content at all here on the channel. Also, make sure head over to Twitch. It's completely free. I got a new Twitch channel, the Texas Man 5877. So if you are already followed onto Twitch at Douglas447, it'll just port you over. You won't have to worry about anything. Just want to let you guys know that I have made it where my YouTube channel and Twitch channel are both the exact same, so it's both seamless. So I hope you guys will enjoy that little easier convenience. And thank you guys if you guys are followers on Twitch and you guys enjoy watching me stream. I am going to try to make it a regular occurrence on Sundays around 7 p.m. EST. I will be streaming Halo. More than likely it's going to be Halo 4 on MCC, and that'll run for like an hour or two depending on how many people I can get to play with me. So Sunday 7 p.m. EST, Halo, always confirmed. Unless something happens or it's like Easter Sunday or something, I'm not going to be streaming on those types of holidays. Anyway, let's jump into the review of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms that just came out a couple of days ago. This is a video I wasn't planning on making, but given that I've been fighting the flu for the past week and a half or so now, and I finally have gotten over it, got my voice finally back. Sounded a lot better than my review for Percy Jackson Season 2, Episode 7, and my video that I did for I Can Only Imagine. So I've got my energy back. Obviously, Monster's helping. But, yeah, spending literally nearly a week and a half just sleeping and watching TV was not fun. One thing I did enjoy was watching some new stuff, including this. This is a show that I honestly forgot was coming out until a friend of mine, who I'll keep anonymous, told me and reminded me. He's like, hey, guess what? Tonight, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms comes out. And I'm just like, huh? What is that? And so I was doing some digging Sunday afternoon, and I was just like, oh, it's a fantasy show, and it takes place 10,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones. And I'm just like, oh, it's in the Game of Thrones universe. And I'm like, oh boy. Ooh. Not sure I'm going to like this. And, I'm mixed. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm mixed. So this is my review for just the first episode. But I'm mixed on the show so far. Like I said, this is a prequel to the Game of Thrones show. And I never watched Game of Thrones beyond the first episode. It didn't hook me at all. The whole premise of people just sitting in throne chairs and talking to each other and scheming, that's fine. But that being an 8-season long plot thread makes Lost look like gold in heaven. Okay? I'm sorry. The people that are able to stomach that type of a drama, like people just sitting in chairs and talking to each other. No, and yes, I know eventually, there's battles and there's dragons and stuff. I get all that. But the whole premise is to find somebody who can sit in a chair. That's the plot. I'm sorry. To figure out the whole plot is like, hey, everyone wants to be able to rule and be able to sit in a chair. When it comes down to the basics, that's what Game of Thrones is. You remove all the battle scenes. You remove the political drama between these kingdoms. You remove the dragons. You remove all the fantasy-like elements. When you get down to the core of the show, it is who can get to be able to sit in the chair and not get killed. I'm sorry, but that being a plot for 8 seasons? should bore anybody with more than 3 brain cells. Okay? Oh. Somehow that's more boring than Once Upon a Time. And if you've not seen Once Upon a Time, watch at least just a couple episodes. And then try to watch Game of Thrones again and tell me which one's more boring when it comes to a drama. Okay? Promise you. Game of Thrones is going to be more boring. Promise you. Okay? Another reason I only watched the first episode of Game of Thrones was the unnecessary amount of vulgar adult language and the sex and nudity within the show. The latter being something that I understand is quote-unquote part of the time, but this is a fantasy show. And I am not interested, I don't find it entertaining to watch other people make out and drop their pants and shirts. Okay? That's not entertainment to me. I want to see cool worlds. I want to see cool action scenes. I want to get deep with the characters. And I do feel as if, though, this show is going to give people the better part of what Game of Thrones should have been. I do feel as if, though, this show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, is going to give people deep character. It's going to give people cool world building. It's going to give people interesting plots. It's going to give people a deeper mythology into this world besides what Game of Thrones did. I think Game of Thrones had way too many characters, and I feel as if, though, this show, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's got a core, central, small group of characters that it's going to focus on. And it's gonna be better because it's smaller scale. It's not some globe-trotting adventure. So I'm happy about that. I think the sound design is fantastic. The sets are gorgeous. The costumes are perfect. The humor in the show is pretty good. There is unfortunately still a lot of adult-themed language. There's a lot of F-bombs. So this is not for kids, if you're curious about that. No. There is several butt shots. There is a very quick 2-second flash of a woman's breast being shown. So that's in there. I think the characters of Sir Duncan and Egg, they're easily memorable. Like, I think they're going to be characters that stick with people that continue to watch the show. And that's really it. This episode, it does a lot of world building. It does a lot of character setup, a lot of plot setup. But it felt rushed. This episode is only like 42 minutes long, and that includes credits. It felt rushed. I think it would have benefited better if the episode was twice as long. And it also would have been beneficial to this episode if something happened. There isn't anything, and most TV shows do this, and I don't know why this show didn't do it. It's very weird, but normally there's some sort of a hook. There's normally an event. There's a character that you're really rooting for or rooting against, and there really isn't that in this episode. There's some sort of catastrophic event that takes place, like a plane crash. I know, I'm using Lost as an example. Can't help it. It's my favorite show, or one of my favorite shows ever. But like the plane crashing. And then we get, what's the monster in the, the jungle forest? What's killing people? And what are we going to do to survive? Like, Lost establishes within its hour and a half opener the clear dangers and our main group of characters really well. This episode for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms doesn't do that. Like, we get introduced to our characters, but I don't have any, oh, I hope they live and they get through this. I don't have any of that emotional connection to them. I don't know if it's the bad writing. the acting or the plot. I just don't care. And there's no... I don't know who the villain of this show is supposed to be. What? Their inner demons? That's not really all that... I need a human character or some fantasy-like villain or something to latch onto and be like, you're evil. I want you to die. There's none of that in this episode. There's nothing like, hey, I want to be able to root against you. There is none of that. So the establishment for good versus evil is not in this episode. And you kind of need to have that basic fundamental good versus evil in any show, movie, book, video game, whatever, in order for it to have a compelling foundation to build off of. And it's not in this episode. And I don't know if people are going to care what happens with Duncan and Egg down the line. Like, yeah, they're memorable characters because of their cool introduction in this episode. But you can't have characters, and I have to say characters, they're not heroes. They're not good people because they don't have an antagonist to go against. They don't have... In order for you to have a strong hero, you have to have a strong villain for them to go up against. It's like, hey, we're going to introduce Batman, but we're not going to introduce Joker. That's what this episode basically did. It introduced Batman and Robin. Just using it as an example. They introduced Batman and Robin. And they're good people. And they're good at what they do. But if you don't introduce the Joker and all the other DC villains, their characters are kind of unmemorable and pointless. So, that's the thing with Duncan and Egg, is they're just characters. They're not good people doing good things. They're not hero elevation status. And so, in terms of a first episode, this show has failed on a multitude of fronts because of that. There's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing special. There's nothing memorable. There is no hook. There's also no event. There's no plane crash. There's no catastrophic event that our characters are having to try to, restore their normal lives to after it has passed. There's no earthquake. There's no volcano. There's no whatever you want to come up with. There's nothing. Okay? There's not a plague. There's not a famine. Come up with whatever fantasy thing that would fit into this world. There's nothing. It's, hey, my mentor died. I take a shit next to a tree. I'm the new knight. I unfortunately get a squire. I'm trying to get into these games so I can get hit in the chest by a metal rail while charging on a horse. I'm just like, what is going on? Half the time I was so confused. I'm like, okay, so he's here getting supper, and we're going to spend 10 minutes on this scene because it's a jumbled mess. It felt like it was trying to do so much, and it didn't have enough time to do stuff that it really needed to do as well under 42 minutes. I'm not planning to review all the episodes for the show. I might do an episode video for the finale if I feel up to it. But overall, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, while I do feel as if though this episode, The Hedge Knight, was... I think it was... I don't know. It was better than things that Game of Thrones did for its first episode. And then it did things worse than other things that Game of Thrones did successfully. So it's a mixed bag. If you're an adult, you're over 18, and you're looking for some sort of fantasy thing, you might enjoy this. But again, there's not a real groundbreaking hook. And this show needs a hook. Otherwise, people are going to walk away. because, like I said, this thing takes place 10,000 years before Game of Thrones. So all those characters, those events, those things, don't all that much matter in this show, which I found refreshing because I was able to watch this episode and not feel as if though, hey, I'm missing out on a bunch of canon and lore. I was able to at least watch the show, appreciate the episode for what it is, and enjoy it in that way. So I do applaud them on that. Obviously, there's a lot of talk of, the Seven Kingdoms and this, that, and the other. So, if you're a big Game of Thrones nerd, you're going to pick up on certain things. But for me, I'm just like, okay, they're talking about all these different countries and people and yada, yada, yada. I'm sure they'll become more important later on, 10,000 years down the line. But for me, I was just like, okay, I'm curious. It's like, what's this knight and his journey going to be? And that's basically what I'm interested in following the rest of the show. If I continue watching it. I'm not sure. I'm not sold. I'm not hooked. But I am at least somewhat intrigued. Just a small amount. But the next episode needs to do something like I said, groundbreaking, revolutionary, get me hooked into your show, or me and many other people are just going to leave and be like, hey, that was okay, whatever. So, all right, I'm going to give the episode A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 1, The Hedge Knight, a 6 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, and I will see you guys all later.